Hey YouTube, Peterbilt Knife Guy. So I just finished the hard use test on the Buck 119 and I boogered up the edge quite a bit. But let's take this thing from chipped up and screwed up and make it sharper than the factory even did. So I'm gonna get my belt sander set up and we're gonna put ourselves a very I don't know what angle, because I don't really do angles. I have an angle finder, so I'm gonna try to figure out the angle. But let's do let's bring this relief edge up just a little bit and put a finer point on this thing and just make it wicked stupid sharp for fun. Stick with me. All right, here we are. The camera's gonna wobble. There's nothing I can do about it. But we have a 1000 grit belt on here right now. This is gonna be our finishing belt when we're done reprofiling this thing. But right now we're gonna go put a, what is this one? Because we're reprofiling it. Let's put a new, what do we got on here? Well, newish, brand newish, 80 grit. And we'll set the new bevel and see where it is, see what happens. Also too, when I reprofile knives, it's a good idea, especially if you're using a belt sander or something like this, to mark the edge. Use a Sharpie and mark that edge. That way when you take off steel, you'll know, like coloring here. I can't even stay in the lines. But basically you'll know where is being ground off and where isn't. Wow, I suck. Is that even focusing? No, whatever. All right, you get the idea. You can see we're all chowdered up there, smashing it against buckets and whatnot. So what I'm gonna do right now is just take an initial pass. Let's see. And see where we land. So this is the purpose of the black. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? It keeps wanting to focus in the wrong spot. See how I took off all the black? So we're essentially set at the right edge bevel right now, but I want to increase it just a hair because it's just gonna bring it to that next level of sharpness. So what I'm gonna do is loosen up my, I think that's called a platen, and just tilt it forward just a little bit. Just a little bit, because I want to run this across and see it on the cheeks of the knife. The cheek is, there's two of them in my opinion, but there's the cheek is the line that separates the cutting edge from the plunge grind or the main bevel. And then there's this cheek right here. This cheek and this cheek. If this was a straight plane, these would be your two highest points. I want to see it run across this cheek, but not hit that edge, because I want to bring that cheek back just a little bit. Here we go. Still not enough. Fucking allergies kicking my ass today. All right, remark this. It's gonna be the sharpest Buck 119 out there. There we go. Screwed up. I didn't think it was at the right angle, but I was doing it. There's two different ways to do a knife like this. And when you drag it across the flat, you can either drag it across this flat or this flat. Both of these make a different angle, where one is like this and one is like, let's see, so essentially one sits like, come on, like that, or where it's touching the edge and it's raised off the back. I want to ride it along here. I was running it along this flat. My bad. Let's get going. Let's remark this bevel. Wow. I always failed coloring. You'll always see me feeling the edge, making sure I don't burn the knife. If I could touch it with my hands, which is still kind of, I mean, it's a little warm, but it's not hot. You're not overheating the metal. You do not want to overheat the metal, especially when using a belt sander. You will destroy a knife's temper so fast. All right, so what I'm looking for when I do this is a burr. You can see that burr right there. See that glint? That's a burr. Come on, focus. When I go on both sides and there's a burr pushed on both sides, that's when I know I'm done and ready to go to the next belt. Except for I haven't got all these nicks out, so I'm going to work on this spot just a tad more. But as for sharpening, if you were sharpening and not trying to get out nicks, that's what you'd be trying to do. But I got to get these nicks out of here. All right, we got it to where we're ready to move to the next belt. The next belt we're going to be going to now is what is this? A 120. And then after the 120, we'll go to 1,000. And after 1,000, we'll go to the strop. Okay, so now we hit the 2 or what, the 1, whatever, but we got a nice burr along both edges when we flip the knife. Now let's clean her up with the 1,000 grit. And this 1,000 grit's been used a lot, so I mean, it is probably less than 1,000, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you, its 1,000 grit days are long gone. All right, let's get something like a piece of wood. There's a big old burr on there. And we're just gonna break that burr down. Just rip it all off. the best way to remove a burr. And it is pretty freaking sharp right now, but it is not where it needs to be. So now that we remove that burr, let's just hit it a couple more times. All right, so we brought that burr back just a hair. You can see it's just like a micro convex. Brought that relief angle back. But you can see how it glistens. It's not just flat anymore. It has a round shape to it. It's a fairly strong, fairly, well, extremely sharp edge. So I'm gonna put this away and I'll meet you at the strop. All right, YouTube. So this is the edge with the burr still on it, not stropped at all. Good, very good. Now let's do a little burr removal. Just pulling it along a piece of wood or something will pull that burr right off of it, but shouldn't really affect that edge because it's sharpening. Look at that. That's before stropping. Did I have any in camera? This is before stropping. So let's get the strop in here and make this thing a freaking razor blade. I don't know if you guys can see that all. You can see enough of it. All right, here we go. It's best to pull that burr off prior to stropping so you're not fighting it the whole time. I don't know what compound this is. It's just something from Harbor Freight, but I know it works good and I just continue to use it. Somebody recommended I get a diamond compound, but you know what? I'll test your edge against mine any day. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unless it's a buck knife. You know, they should make a 119 that's full tang. This tang tapers, or this whole handle tapers back. They could make a guard that's slipped over a full tang. If they made a full tang buck 119 and put a flat grind on it, I'd bend over and kiss Buck's ass, but you know, it's just because the knife held up doesn't mean I want to trust it. Let's get stropping. I need to talk so people don't get bored. Stroppy, stroppy. Taking care of Grandpa's knife here. Make sure you get that frickin' tip without destroying your strop. Cutting into it like I just did. Sometimes I like to pull this way and pull this way to, it's kind of like cross hatching. All right, now let's test this edge. I mean, just effortlessly, just effort. And we haven't even hit the fine side yet. Now we're at the fine. Clean your strop off. Make sure there's nothing on it. Leather likes to pick up little pieces of stuff, and it'll mess up your edge. Here we go. Give it this final strop. Some people need to make this stropping method works great. If you have a vise at your disposal and some glue and some strips of leather, which you can go down to any hobby store and get, and pick yourself up some compound, this stropping method just works great. It is secure and You can do big knives, small knives, it doesn't matter. Change it up a little bit. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is gonna be an edge to be scared of. Okay, she's not quite a mirror polish, but it is pretty good. That is a pretty good, pretty shiny edge. I should get a belt that goes up past 1,000. But even not being mirror polished, just effortless. Let's move you back over here, because we be done. We be done with the old strop now, but just that's a sharp ass knife right there. That is a sharp ass knife. For all the testing and stuff I did to it, there we go. Right down to the tip. Just sharp. There you go. Reprofiled, micro convex, buck 119 that you could shave the hair off a gnat's ass with. Thanks for watching.